given to understand you also partnering with organizations like USAID, with their Afia HELB fund as well. Give us a broader understanding of this engagement.
Yeah, so we got a clear strategy in terms of external resource mobilization. And that strategy talks about being able to mobilize resources from development partners. So USAID would be one of the development partners that we're talking about. Being able to mobilize resources from multilateral development partners, funders like World Bank, African Development Bank. I'm saying this because those are the guys we are already in conversation with. We resource mobilizes from the counties, what you call devolved funds, and the constituencies. We have already talked about the 6 counties already who are banking with us, and we have another 6 or 9 constituencies that are banking with us. So devolved funds is also another one. Then individuals like you and I, and not necessarily high net worth individuals. In fact, when I look at the HELB fund itself as it is today, the guys who have been able to help us or give us 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings, a lawyer walked in and gave us 1,000,000 shillings. He said, "You don't know where HELB has gotten me. Take this 1,000,000 shillings and fund, this." So we got quite a number of these funding coming even from individuals. And then even government agencies. What do I mean by government agencies? If you look at the Ministry of Health, for example, will be wanting to fund Afia HELB because it is training nurses. And those nurses actually go back as healthcare workers, which go to help government in terms of healthcare, healthcare in the system around the country. So that is a kind of the 5-pronged strategy that we take in terms of external resources. Now, if you look at USAID, for example, one of the key things USAID identified was healthcare workers shortage in this country. They then identified and said, if we can be able to put in a revolving fund where many people come and contribute to the fund, and it is managed in a revolving manner, it means it can be able to help many more people. And initially we started with a small fund of about 200-300 million. USAID in that year, they gave us about 180 million Kenya shillings. And then we went out there with a plan to resource mobilize on it. Today we have many partners in that fund. I&M Bank, you have got the Family Foundation, you have got the Ratansis who have helped us finance. Today that fund is at 2.5 billion, having trained about 32,000 nurses. 9,000 of them are actually at the forefront of fighting COVID today because they're already employed in the counties or in the national government, and they're actually repaying their loan back. So we are very proud. Some of these things we actually tried. We never knew that these are the guys who will come and be able to fight this pandemic, as it were. Yes.
And I like that because I think what we're talking about is Utu.
Yes.
Right? So Utu is not just coming from HELB. Utu also is coming from the customers. Like that particular lawyer, you say, you don't know what HELB has done for me. And your policy, your mandate is empowering dreams.
Correct.
So this is a person, and is an epitome of a person who has benefited from HELB, and he's now, it is not just a good posturing, he's actually living it. He's saying, yeah, this is it.
Correct.
Take this stash of money.
Correct.
Because you've empowered me. I've achieved my dreams. Beautiful.
Yes.
But I want just to plumb deep and ask you, because maybe I can latch still on that. You've also been training KRA as well, yes, right? On trying to manage the revolving funds as well. Yes. Give us another aspect. For many Kenyans who do not really understand that you're not just recouping and recovering loans, that you are also trying to have strategic way of mobilizing resources.
Yeah. So just to give you some optics around how we are doing that. Remember, most of the companies, most of the institutions, as part of the Wetu, for them, for their staff,
yes,
will have a training budget, so that they can train their staff. KRA is a good example, where KRA want to train its staff for whether postgraduate or whether diplomas in KRA tax administration or anything that their staff would be wishing to pursue. And then look at the national government. We actually manage the training revolving fund of the national government. So any civil servant who want, as part of the Utu of government, who want to pursue, higher education, apart from maybe the first degree that you did, you want to do a diploma in this, you want to do a master's in this, or a PhD in the other, then government says you can access these funds. They then give us those funds to be able to help them achieve their Wetu. So even for KRA, we are trying to help KRA achieve their Wetu with our bigger Wetu that we have done to the 1 million, student that we have been able to fund to date. Yes, so that's how it operates. So and we have quite a number of those now. We have a streak of those funds. We've just started the Blue Economy Fund, which will be to train guys in Bandari Academy. Bandari Academy will be mainly training seafarers and guys who actually work in that blue economy area. We think there's huge opportunity for our youth to be able to pursue courses in that area, and then they will be absorbed in those, those ships that you see, docking here on a daily basis. And we have quite good living examples. And part of that will be funded mainly by Kenya Maritime Authority as part of their mandate in terms of training and development opportunities for Kenyans so that they can be able to join the blue economy aspect. Yes, yeah.
Good. When we get granular with the Wetu, we see HELB, you're operating on a revolving fund. And I think there's not been a very broader understanding maybe to the public that it is very key. If I have benefited from HELB, then I need to, after maybe my employment or maybe during my employment time, I need now to remit this money so that someone else can be, help and assisted in achieving their dreams as well. In the Universal Fund, this is where we talk about Wetu. First of all, I want to peg it on two aspects. With the Big Four agenda, because we know about the 4 pillars of the Big Four agenda, and it's very critical, it's key that we have, smart labor market, individuals that are prepared for the labor. How is HELB also trying to aid and steamroll the Big Four agenda?
So, if you look at the Vision 2030, if you look at the Big Four agenda, we'll not go anywhere of all those strategic or development plans without skilled manpower. Fantastic. And in particular, the technical area of that manpower. People who can be able to strategically look at this country another 100 years and say, where are we going to come from? Which means then they require to go to school so that they get the skills, and then they can be able to establish themselves as people who can be able to lead that conversation. And therefore, we are proud that we are part and parcel of developing the manpower through financing their education. To date, if you look at what we have done, like I was saying, as part of that, Wetu, we've trained 1,009,000 graduates out there. We are very excited that out of that 1,235,000 have actually repaid fully their loan back. Now, for you to be able to understand how this mechanic works, unless you pay back, then you don't participate in the Wetu process for HELB. Because part of our budget that we fund on a year basis, although you hear that Parliament or government is going to give HELB this year, for example, for us, this year we're going to receive about 16.5 billion if you look at the budget. But it does not mean that government will give you the entire 16.5 billion. In fact, out of that, government is giving us only 11 billion. The balance of 5-point-something billion has to come from you and I. So, and that is where the Wetu comes in. So even as tuendelee kulipa HELB, ndio usomeshe mwingine. That is where we come from, so that you can see the money you give back, the money you pay back is actually going back so that it can be able to educate another person. And I think it's a concept that is not very well understood, but part and parcel of these discussions that we are doing is for you to see that you're actually a shareholder in terms of educating the future. Yes.
Maybe if you can take the cookies from the high shelf to put it down, we can try and extrapolate that particular idea with the chamas, right? The way I normally also contribute to my chama, and then when it is your time, you get the fund, I do what I want to do with the money, I develop myself, put up a structure, then afterwards, you actually put it back. It revolves, help someone else. Is that the idea?
That is the concept.
That is the concept.
That you receive, then you give back so that the next person can be able to give back. And of course, if you look at the challenges that this government is having because of growth in population, we need to develop infrastructure. They cannot be able to fund the entire higher education loans budget, because money needs to go to healthcare, money needs to go to food and nutrition, money need to go to infrastructure development. So it means it is us still who are funded who must come back and give back to HELB, so that then somebody else of a future generation can be able to eat from the same pool that you ate from.
Fantastic. Yes.